Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is Hart, and today I'll be doing a player-by-player breakdown on DraftKings for tonight's 2 Monday Night Football games. So hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell as I make content for the NFL and NFL PrizePicks throughout the whole season. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter, HartDFS. I'll be putting up a bunch of fantasy football relevant stats there to help you guys out with week-long, month-long, season-long DFS, as well as fantasy football. So, for the 2 games today, this will be a pretty quick breakdown video. We have the Titans-Bills, 10-point spread favored to the Bills with a 47.5 game total. And then Vikings-Eagles, 2.5-point spread favored to the Eagles with 49 game total. So, decently high-scoring games. This first game is kind of the big question mark of the slate. Tennessee-Buffalo, you got a Buffalo team who looks like the best team in the league, super high-powered offense. Their defense looks great too. And then Tennessee really struggled against the Giants. Don't look great at all. Their passing game looks horrific. And Derrick Henry, if they go down 2 touchdowns, they're not going to run with Derrick Henry, and it's just a lot of question marks. I do apologize if you guys hear some background noise. They're doing a bunch of work, so I'm going to try to make this pretty quick so it limits the background noise. But we have Ryan Tannehill, 5.2K. I mean, he does have a little bit of upside. He's not going to go out there and throw for 400 yards like some of the other QBs on this slate, but he's going to be super low owned compared to the 3 other guys. I don't mind it as a punt play. It's just one of those things, the game script should be there for him to do well. They should be down, according to Vegas, the spread's 10, so that he should be down a decent amount, and they should be coming out to throw the ball a ton, which is obviously not great for Derrick Henry. At 7,800, just more of like a contrarian play for me. You really need this game to be kind of like that 10 points or closer for Derrick Henry to go out there and get 20 plus touches. Because if not, paying 7,800 for Derrick Henry is really going to kill you in this tournament with all the good plays. So I don't mind getting to him at 7,800. Do like it as a little contrarian play, but the game script is just not looking like that'll happen. But who knows? With these primetime games, the opposite's pretty much happened every time. So, everyone's expecting this Minnesota-Philly game to be super high scoring. Maybe they come out and they barely score points. So who knows? I don't mind it as a contrarian play right there. I actually have a decent amount of interest in all the receivers. I know Phillips was kind of their main guy. Saw 9 targets, caught 6 of them for 66 yards. But he is questionable, so keep an eye on that. We'll have to see if he plays. If he doesn't, I have a good amount of interest in Woods and Burks. I do think I prefer Burks. He saw 5 targets, caught 3 of them for 55 yards. 2 of them were deep balls, so he did flash some upside. And with the game script, if they're going to be down, really expect these guys to get force-fed the ball to be able to try to come back. So really prefer these guys. I know Josh Gordon just got elevated, so maybe he plays. It'll be interesting to see the depth chart if Kyle Phillips doesn't play. So really got to keep an eye on this, but prefer Burks over Woods, but like them both. And then you can definitely take a shot on a punt play on Josh Gordon if you wanted to. Maybe he plays, get you that 1 touchdown. It would really help you out. But one of those you got to keep an eye on. Tight ends, Hooper, only 2 targets. I just don't really think the tight ends are in play for me. Swain saw 4 targets. It's just one of those, if you want to take a dart throw on a tight end to try to get different and take down the million to first, you could get different with these tight ends or maybe Josh Gordon. I'm not super confident in any of those plays, but if you're trying to take down first place, you kind of have to get a little bit weird. Titans D, not for me, probably going to be the lowest owned on the slate. Buffalo, Josh Allen looks great. Him and Jalen Hurts can be the 2 highest owned on the slate. What you're getting with Josh Allen in that offense. Having Gabe Davis possibly not play does hurt him a little bit, but still has that huge rushing upside as well as the passing game. So really like Josh Allen. Everyone else does it too. The running back room is, Singletary is going to split carries with Zach Moss. Don't really expect Zach Moss to see 6 targets in this game versus Tennessee. I do expect him to see, maybe 5 to 9, 10, carries, maybe 3 or 4 targets a game. You could play him. I'd prefer to play Singletary. He just has that little bit more of a safer floor. He should see close to 11, 12 carries, if not more, a few targets. 5,300 looks pretty decent today. I know a lot of the public is on him. Wide receivers, Stephon Diggs. that's just way too cheap for a wide receiver in this offense of this caliber with Josh Allen throwing the ball. Yeah, I mean, you know what he did last week versus the Rams. Love him at 7,500. Obviously, one of my favorite locks of the day. Gabe Davis, this is huge news. We'll see if he plays. If he's out, let's just say he's out. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is 100% a lock. But I think a lot of people are preferring Isaiah McKenzie over Crowder. If you watch the game, Crowder started to get more reps and more run towards the end of the game. He saw 4 targets, caught 3 of them for 28 yards. So I do like him a decent amount at 4,000, especially if you're going to play Josh Allen. A lot of people are going to, I think, McKenzie's going to come in at maybe 15, 20% more owned than Crowder. I do, obviously, it's 4 games, or 2 games, 4 teams. So, Crowder is going to get some ownership, but really think he's going to be a lot less owned compared to McKenzie. And then Kumaro or Shakir, they'll fill in as like the 3rd/4th wide receiver behind Stephon Diggs. Or sorry, 4th/5th wide receiver behind Diggs, McKenzie, and Crowder. But if Gabe Davis is in, I think I'd still rather go to Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis is a little, I don't know. I just don't think I'm going to get there if he's in. I don't like the ankle injury. Maybe some ownership will be off him because of that, but I really just prefer getting to Stephon Diggs and Crowder. Dawson Knox, I think he's going to have a big bounce back game here, especially if Gabe Davis is out. I really expect Dawson Knox to be relied upon heavily to kind of fill up the lack of production from the wide receivers. So like him a good amount today at 4,000. He's another popular play on today. And then defense, they're going to have the highest salary defense on this slate. So 3,200, they're going to be super popular going against Tennessee, who's not an explosive offense, especially if, Bills get up early. Tennessee's going to have to throw the ball a ton. They have great safeties. And so, 3,200, I don't know if I'm going to get there, but it's looking like they're going to be the highest owned and the best defense on the slate. Minnesota and Philly, Kirk Cousins, 6,200. He has big upside when it comes to the passing game. I know the Eagles' defense looks pretty decent. The Detroit Lions put up a good amount of points on them in week 1, but 6,200 for Kirk Cousins when he's throwing it to Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, Irv Smith, Dalvin Cook. I like Kirk a decent amount today. Expect him to come in probably the 3rd owned QB. Dalvin Cook, I like him a lot. It's kind of like the same thing. Not obviously him and Derrick Henry are very different, but a lot of the public is not on Dalvin. I think a lot of people are going to pay down for those 5K running backs like Singletary, guy like Miles Sanders, and so I think Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry are going to be just way too low owned, very under owned. He saw 20 carries, 90 yards versus the pack, 5 targets, 3 catches. So he's a guy who can do everything. He's a great player, very explosive. I really expect him to have a big game here against Philadelphia. DeAndre Swift and Jamal Adams absolutely ate up against the Philly D. So I really like Dalvin here. I like him as more as like a contrarian play for today. Madison will get, 5 to 10 carries. That's really it. Excuse me. Justin Jefferson, 11 targets, 9 of them for 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's an absolute beast. 9,000 from him. He's the most expensive wide receiver on the slate. 1,500 more than Stephon Diggs, which is wild, but, obviously a great matchup versus Philly. Really like Thielen on this bounce back game here. Saw 4 targets, only caught 3 for 36 yards. So really like him, especially if you want to get a piece of this game. KJ Osborne, also don't mind taking a shot on him. Saw the same amount of targets as Adam Thielen. He's a very capable wide receiver. If you want to take that risky fade, a fade in Jefferson, you can definitely load up on Thielen and KJ Osborne. Irv Smith Jr. only played 19 of the 62 snaps, only saw 2 targets. Expect him to get a little bit more run, but he did miss a lot of training camp. So they started with Johnny Munt, who saw 3 targets, caught all 3, but only for 17 yards. You can definitely take that dart throw there in Irv Smith, hoping that he plays, closer to half the game and sees, maybe 5-6 targets. Maybe it falls in the end zone for you. 3,200, going to be super low owned, especially when people are just going to go down and see that he missed a lot of snaps. Only played 19 of the 62. So there's that dart throw there. And then on the Philly side, probably the highest owned QB on the slate is going to be Jalen Hurts, 7,100. Obviously has even more upside when it comes to the rushing department compared to Josh Allen. I mean, he can't throw the ball as well, so he could get you the 300 yards plus passing bonus on DraftKings. So looks really good. Obviously has that rushing touchdown upside as well. I think they scored 4 rushing touchdowns versus Detroit. Don't really expect that again. So, I mean, Miles Sanders looks pretty decent here. At 5,500, had a bounce back game compared to last season when he finally scored a touchdown. 13 attempts, 96 yards, average a good amount, 7.4 per carry. Not too relevant in the passing game as of right now, but he can get you catches out of the backfield. So 5,500, he looks pretty solid. Him and Singletary are kind of the same running back. They can catch you passes. They can run the ball as well, but they're kind of split in the backfield, so that really kind of limits their upside, but they should be seeing the first down back role. So don't mind going there. Kenneth Gainwell, kind of like a Zach Moss, going to see 5 to 10 attempts maybe as a backup. Going to see, 2 to 5 targets as well. So they're always viable, the backups to Sanders and Singletary, but I just don't think I'm going to get there on the slate. But if you want to get different or weird, you can definitely do that. That's what you're going to need to do to win the $1 million to first. So I don't mind it. You got to differentiate yourself somehow, because a lot of people are just going to stack up the wide receivers like Thielen, Stephon, and Justin Jefferson. A.J. Brown had a fantastic week 1, 13 targets, 10 of them for 155 yards. Didn't get a touchdown, but 7,000 for him going against Minnesota. Like him a good amount. I also like Devontae Smith on a bounce back spot here. Saw 4 targets, didn't catch anything. 4,500 for Devontae Smith, who's a fantastic route runner. And especially after week 1 with A.J. Brown tearing up the Lions defense, I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to key in on that. They're going to have to show a little bit more help, because he's a fantastic wide receiver. He's huge too. And so they're going to have to, put a little bit more spy help on him. And then I think Devontae Smith, who's a fantastic route runner, super fast, really think he's going to have a bounce back spot here. Expect Jalen Hurts to throw it more to his side. So really like him here. That's one of my plays for today. Who else? I mean, you could take a random shot on a guy like Quez Watkins. Didn't see any targets, but he did play pretty much the whole game. So, I mean, you're kind of looking for someone to fall in the end zone. Maybe it's him this week. It really sets you apart, but not my favorite punt play. Rather, take a punt play on the Tennessee guys where the game script's a little bit better, of more passing. Dallas Goedert probably be the highest owned tight end on the slate. 4 targets, 3 of them for 60 yards. Jalen Hurts does like throwing it to him, so I like him a decent amount. And then obviously the Eagles D, which will be, I think, also very popular today. I think a lot of people think Kirk Cousins is going to struggle. I think he's like 2-8 all time on Monday Night Football games, so he does not have a good record at all. They've lost, obviously, 8 times. He's only won 2. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, right now the game scripts are looking like Tennessee is going to be down multiple points, maybe 2 scores to Buffalo the whole game. So they should be passing a lot. That means Derrick Henry is going to be very limited. And then Minnesota Philly should be a high scoring, but also close game. So all those guys should be able to eat. But once again, it's prime time, so we never know what will happen. Most likely the opposite will happen. So maybe Derrick Henry goes off. Maybe this game is more a slower paced one where the running backs are doing well. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays off. I'm going to make 2 lineups. Going to do one that's more kind of what the field's doing, and then one that's super contrarian, and see how that goes. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell. Hope you guys take first place or split with me. That'd be fantastic. And then I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.